bring in former senior director for counterterrorism on the National Security Council, Javed Ali, and the executive vice president at the Center for International Policy, Matt Duss. And Javed, I want to start with you because it's been almost a week since the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran. How long can both sides sustain military responses in the region?
Alex, nice to be with you. So here we are, almost a full week into the war, and the U.S. and Israel hold the qualitative and quantitative advantage. And as your previous segment indicated, there's been thousands of strikes against targets in Iran, but they are absorbing a lot of punishment. And at the same time, the Iranians still have not exhausted their inventory of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, drones. Even despite what they've used and despite what's been degraded or destroyed, they're still digging in. So this is going to go on for some period of time, at least the next several days, if not longer.
Well, and Matt, we heard NATO's Secretary General say that the alliance is not involved, but supports what the U.S. is doing in the region. What's your reaction to that?
I think that makes no sense. I understand that the NATO Secretary General needs to stay on the good side of Donald Trump. And that's really what that is about. There is no justification for this war. The president has not made the case that Iran posed anything like an imminent threat, certainly not one that would trigger NATO's Article 51. So it's very good that NATO is staying out of this, as they should. But I think Ruta's comments reflect what we also heard from the German Chancellor in the Oval Office meeting just the other day, which was also support for this war, which should be very shocking. This war is again a clear violation of international law, and the lack of opposition from European leaders to this war, as in response to Trump's similar violation by invading Venezuela, really demonstrates the egregious double standard that exists when it comes to upholding, the rules of law for the United States versus other countries.
Well, and Javed, President Trump now says that he wants to be involved in choosing Iran's next supreme leader. It's really interesting because there's already a front runner in succession there. So what are you going to be watching for?
So the process for how supreme leaders are picked in Iran is written into their constitution from 1979 when it became the Islamic Republic of Iran. And there's an interlocking series of structures. First, the Council of Guardians, which is the most senior clerical establishment in Iran, was made up of 12 clerics, and then another body called the Assembly of Experts that's made up of 88 clerics that are actually picked by the Iranian population. And the Assembly of Experts, who are approved by the Council of Guardians, will then make their selection for the next supreme leader. And by the media reporting out there, it might be Ali Khamenei's son, one of his four sons, Mujtaba Khamenei, but nobody knows if he will continue on the same hardline path of his father or be more moderate. But the fact that if he is a candidate, one would think he has also the backing of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. So he may already be in that hardline camp already.
Yeah. Well, and Matt, when it comes to regional risk, which nations come to mind as possibly getting drawn into this conflict?
Well, I think probably the most obvious one would be next door to Iran, which is Iraq, which has a large Shia religious minority. It is an Arab ethnic Shia majority as opposed to a Persian ethnic majority in Iran, but they share Shiite Muslim faith. They have a number, there's a lot of cross connections, a lot of Islamic scholars, Shia scholars and clerics in Iran have studied in Iraq and vice versa. So I think if this war if there are refugee flows across the border, if there are attacks from elements inside Iraq, as we saw some reporting about yesterday, we could see some of Iraq's religious establishment getting involved here, and that would be kind of a game changer.
All right. Javed, Matt, thank you both.